edition of the Motley Croc Show. It is 11:30:23. I cannot believe we're already through November this fast, and we're going to wake up, and it's going to be Christmas right before you know it. So backstage, I have a special guest today. His name's Anthony. He goes by the Conservative Ant. We're going to bring him on. Brittany will be with us, and Jimmy Riffle. Unfortunately, tonight, I don't have Jeff. I know he's listening, but he's at work. He got called in, but he's saving lives. So I'm going to go ahead and start up with Anthony and bring him on in. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, bro? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Brittany, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yep. Jimmy did reach out.
Hi,
He's jump starting. So maybe we should meet. So Anthony, tell everybody about yourself. We'll get started. We might as well while we're starting to pick up viewers.
Yeah. So my name is Anthony Raimondi. I'm better known as Conservative Ant on most all social media platforms.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I feel like every Jimmy I've ever known has always gone by Jimbo or Jimbo Slice.
I'm the original. Sorry, everybody else.
Oh, you are
Jimbo Slice. And we have Kimbo Slice too. Let's not forget about her.
And Kimbo Slice. Yeah. So I just run around the internet, bro. And am I allowed to swear on your show?
Yeah, I don't care.
Oh,
yep.
I just fucking cause havoc. That's all.
Well, you fit right in here, actually.
You cannot fucking curse, okay?
No, we can't do that here. I'm very specific because I tell a lot of people, Jimmy's in the same boat. I'm sure you are too, Anthony. I know Brittany isn't because she's different than the rest of us, but I have professional accounts that I have to deal with professionally that are not adult related, and sometimes I have to work with children, so I can't be doing that. But they always say, oh, some random person will become and go, hey, I saw your Motley Croc show, man. That shit's fire. I'm like, yes, it's definitely not a kid show. We don't talk that stuff on there. But yeah, Jimbo. But with that being said, so yes, on the Motley Croc show, I'm gonna tell everybody who's coming in case you want to snip it or kick me off again or fire me off the show, whatever. This is it's a comical roller coaster of humor. If you're offended and you let those things upset you, then you should just log off now because Anthony's here, and I'm sure it's going to get much worse.
I never understood over the last 4 years. Every time I meet people in public, they're like, "Oh my god, my kids love you slap your camera and you hit the camera with your hat." And I think it was like a few years ago, or maybe 2 years ago, I really in my mind was conscious of that, and I was like, "Oh, I have kids that watch. Why are you letting your kids watch me?" But I started to cut down on the, just swearing, the derogatory language.
Which channel is that you've cut back on?
What's that now?
Which channel did you cut back on? Because
not none other channels. Now what I do is I put on their adult language if I
seen that
video. So
I saw that.
At least to give you the warning,
One of my favorite things I saw today, because for some reason now, since we've been talking and promoting, you're popping up at the top of the algorithm, and you yelled at somebody for being outside with a shield. And I have to say,
but what is this shield?
You made me laugh, bro, because I'll tell you why I laughed about it. But go ahead.
But what does the shield do? You are walking. You are mall walking. So you're power walking down the street by yourself with a full shield on. Pollen, all kinds of stuff can get in from the back end of it. And I don't know, maybe a liberal can let me know exactly how that helps. But this guy is out in the world, just out in the wild. Yeah, educate me. I guess that's science. I have no idea. But does he have windshield wiper blades on the front of it? Are we catching bugs? What are we really doing?
I know what you're talking about. You talk about those plastic ones that when they breathe in, it fogs up.
Wind chill. It's for wind chill.
In Florida.
Yeah, it's wind chill.
Well, that's why I was posting those things. Don't you ever want to see somebody with those masks on? So, excuse me, doctor. Where's the diaper?
I saw you post that earlier.
Yeah, dude. Well, so the other night we were out. We were just picking something up. We were coming back from the store. I'm like, oh, it's late. I've got to get a couple extra heaters because, it got sub-zero and animals were dying and it was apocalyptic here. So we had to get other here. Nothing died. I'm just kidding, folks. So don't freak the fuck out. I'm just kidding. But I had to go buy these extra heaters, one for the kangaroo, give him some love. And, I'm like, fuck, we got to get up. And ever since COVID, everything closes at 6:30. I mean, that even Walmart now, you can't even go there anymore to make fun of people because you can't. So we were coming back and there's this car. Listen to me now. It's weird. This car crashed into a fence. There's a woman standing outside of the car, and she's like, yeah, she doesn't have anybody to help her, and she's stuck. I go, I'm going to go home and get the dually. I'll be back. I'll help you get the tire changed. So I'm changing the tire, walking to the car, and the girl's naked in the car. This
Florida shit.
Slightly heavy, interesting-looking woman's naked. I go, you can't get out of the car like that. Do you have clothes? No. Where'd you come from? I just was coming. Where'd you come from? I don't even remember. Fuck, I'm gone. Right? So she gets out with just a sweatshirt on and no bottoms, dude. Walking around in the middle of the street. No, I'm jacking up a car. I mean, you have to understand, I had pictures. I took secret pictures. Right? And I met the cool neighbor that bought the big house on the lake, or built the big house on the lake. She was a wonderful lady with her phone pole. But here's the funny thing. The car comes around the corner, right? Hard left. Somehow there's a trash can in the road, and a phone pole that she hit went between, right, across the road into the fence, but there's no tire on the wheel, right? So I'm thinking, where's the fucking tire? The rim is worn down to pure metal, like it's been running on a rim for miles. But here's the thing. Only in the dirt and on that little stretch of road before the sidewalk, there was gouges from the tire. It's almost like the girl shot out of a different dimension and appeared there and crashed. I'm not kidding you. It was that fucking weird. I'm not making that up. That's
She
true.
probably did.
Because I said,
And she's like, I have no idea I got here.
he hit the phone pole so hard it broke the rack and pinion and everything up in the steering and crammed the other rim up into the motor on the other side. So you can't even straighten the car out. So I'm like, you're going to have to call a tow truck. I can't help you anymore. And so I guess that's what she did, but it just appeared out of nowhere. I just don't. I mean, have you ever seen that? It just appeared. So when you said you're outside with a shield, I'm thinking, God, and there's naked people driving out of atmospheres from other directions.
You can't even make that shit up. You can't even
Naked interdimensional passengers.
Well, go ahead. While we're chatting, I'll go ahead and send those pictures to you.
I think she might have been like an NPC. Have you heard of these people before?
Yes.
Yep.
Dude, I swear.
But then she's telling all of us, I was just sleeping with this cop. I'm meeting up with this cop and stuff. And,
Does she have a name?
Naked?
Yeah, I guess she just got done with him or something. She was giving him a little service.
Good for her.
I mean, I guess, but she's
I'm a-
definitely she's fucked now because
Where's her clothes though? Like, did she just decide like, oh shit, I got to get out of here really quick?
The wife got home
Coming.
and she had to haul
Out the window and took the car. That's a very plausible explanation.
Here's my question. Why does this never happen to me, but with dudes?
listen, bro, you just don't live in the right area. I think you live where a lot of old people live.
This is like an
It
only
is
Florida
very-
post.
It's pretty geriatric here. It really is. I mean, it's getting a lot younger in Southwest Florida, I will say. After the pandemic, a lot of people moved, obviously, to Florida. They moved down to these parts where we're at, Tampa South. But now it's snowbird season. So,
Oh yeah.
they're all running amok with their walkers and their wheelchairs, and they think that they've been here all year. And I'm like, slow down. You got here a week ago. Don't start your shit. You just got here.
Hey, that's not the way they are.
Until March.
It doesn't happen like that, dude. And they still held on to them big ass cars too.
Oh, like the Lincoln Continentals and shit.
Yeah, like I figure when they pull up, sometimes I think Ice Cube's gonna get out. That's how big. It is. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. But listen, that's a snowbird colony here, man. They just get a little out of control. Wish they would not. But I have been seeing some really weird things, and I agree. I think you should say stuff sometimes. You have to.
If you see it, say something. That's what they tell us to do.
I am the worst. I'm the worst to go out in public with because so a lady was trying to talk to me today and she had a mask on and I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Like the whole pandemic thing for me, I'm so glad that I came down to Florida because not many people were wearing them. But when I lived up in Illinois, I couldn't understand anybody, and I'm a big lip reader, so it was a really tough. So now to me, you're an inconvenience to me now is how I'm treating it. So this lady was starting to talk to me, and I'm like, "What do you need?" I'm like, "What do you need?" And she's like, "Blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Oh," I'm like, I don't know. I can't understand you." And she like got really frustrated and then left. Oh, I see all these comments now. And she got really frustrated. She's like, "Never mind." I'm like, "Yeah, never mind. I can't understand what you're saying."
And she probably got really pissed too.
I don't care. What do you mean? I can't understand you. To me, if you're wearing that, you're invisible to me. I'm sorry, but I'd rather be respectful and not talk to you or see you.
No, I'm telling you, got to try this, bro. You just walk up gently and go, "Excuse me, doctor." And you got to be serious. I've been having these pains, and I just want to know if you have any remedy. It's like right here. And watch what they do.
But here's my question. Why do they wear them in their cars? Like with the windows up?
Nobody knows.
Can someone explain that to me?
I know that's weird as hell.
Just recycle your air.
And you don't care about anything from outside
coming in your car.
These people are not real people. They're NPCs. I'm telling you,
That's a really good term for them, actually, because I just don't
understand.
Like, are you broken?
He's talking about the theory of them just being so wanting to.
Yeah, but thinking about it realistically, though, it's like the perfect explanation. It breaks it down.
Like, I heard Joe Biden today. I sent that to you too, Anthony. Joe Biden said that.
What did he say? I can't understand a word he's saying, babe. What did he say?
What he said. My military ID has the detonation combination on the back to blow up the world. Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
Can you imagine if Donald Trump said that? They would lose their shit.
Oh, Tampa would be burnt to the ground. And they would have all the bricks thrown through the windows again.
What's funny? He says this shit, and then everyone's like, "Oh, it's cute." he called the black man boy, and everyone's like,
if it would not. If it was us, even if it was one of us, aside from Trump, that would happen.
Dude, Trump ate a taco bowl on an airplane, and they freaking crucified him. He's calling people boy and saying if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. And everyone's like, yeah, woo, woo, Joe.
That is so true, man. That is so true. It's
maybe so a liberal funny. Can help in the comment section. Help me.
Because I'm pretty easy going with that stuff. I just think that if let them both do their thing and don't harass them. Just let them be whatever. But it's just like this. It's like a big football game, but more violent. Like who can play dirtier, dude? It's like the Raiders and the Dolphins back in the '80s playing each other.
You're talking about politics?
Yes.
Like the wings against each other?
Like when you don't even think about it, dude. This is what I do. I don't even watch anything anymore because it starts to control you. Everything does. And I don't like that. I'd rather go outside by the pool and swim with a capybara. And then when the missile's coming and the phone calls and it's my mom, she goes, "Well, they've detonated. We're going to die." I go, "I love you." At least I know, right? I'm not going to be stressed up for 2 weeks. I'm going to be okay until I see it coming. And I'm just going to close my eyes and go.
I was looking forward to the solar flare storm today. Nothing happened. I'm still here.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
dude.
No, nothing. Fake news.
It's fake news. That's what I like to say. Fake news.
Yep.
No, listen, the political world right now, it's funny, really. I mean, because you have people on both sides that are blinded and brainwashed. And then you have people that are free thinkers that are like, you can be a free thinker as long as you're thinking what I'm thinking. And if you're not thinking what I'm thinking, then you are no longer a free thinker. That's a conspiracy theory. So it's like, you can't make anybody happy is a problem. Mm-hmm. I don't know if liberals watch the show.
You're probably right, Michelle. I don't know. Sometimes.
Well, they're not after me. They're gone. No,
we're not here tonight.
Like, I never could wrap my head around, you guys. I can never wrap it through the whole process, right? I'm a recovering liberal. I voted for Obama twice. Like, I've been on that side of the fence. I'm still very socially liberal, very much liberal, like in normal liberal, right? Like the old Democrat Party, like normal people, humans. And then you have like this weird 1% of America that's like the loudest, that literally hates old white people and then wants to literally elect old white people like Joe Biden, or have, you know, the most uncool bitch on the planet, Hillary Clinton, run for office. Like, at least give me, like, at least if it was Michelle Obama, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. But Hillary Clinton, she doesn't even wear pantsuits correctly. What is this now?
Oh.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, Hillary Clinton's, you know, and then you have people that are like as old as dirt, you know, on both sides. I mean, dude, we had Mitch McConnell stroke out. He stroked out.
He did. He totally did. Yeah.
And people are fine with this.
Yeah. That actually turned into like to a huge conspiracy theory too. They were like, is he a robot? You know, is this a glitch in the Matrix? Yeah, they turned him off. And there was another representative of the House from the Pentagon that happened to as well. They were actually out doing a statement in regards to the UFO stuff. And literally she just started like freezing up and then collapsed. And they had to carry her off stage. So yeah, it was like, we were like, what is happening? They're shutting down the robots. They're not allowed to talk.
But you know, when he made a very good reference about something, like I said, I'm pretty much down the line. I'd be more of a libertarian if somebody asked me. I try to. I don't want to, because you know everybody's got their own system. I think we vote on the wrong things. We definitely vote on the wrong things. Like, I mean, it should be more about economy and us and making a living and protecting, you know, the people of all whatever. And instead, it's more of a it's just a lot of BS. Anyways, with that being said, I remember watching. They don't let anybody forget. Like, I know the whole grab him by the pussy thing or whatever, but I saw how hateful Biden was to the homosexual community. He's like, absolutely, we'll never allow them to get married. It's between this and God. This, he said. Now it's like, oh, he's wonderful, and he's out there with their flags and stuff. I don't understand the fuck that is. I don't get that. To me, like, when can Trump never said anything like that? Even when I was a kid, and I remember him from the 80s. The only comment everyone said was, hey, I'm just not a man, but if I was, I'd be into him just like I am women. That's
listen.
That's what he said.
I know. He would listen. Everybody in Hollywood would have done anything to go to a Trump party. Literally anything. And here's what's crazy to me.
Working.
I have been trying to put this information out. A lot of gay conservatives have been trying to put this information out. We have actively worked with the Trump team on literal gay issues more so than anybody has been able to do with the Biden administration. He literally lowered. What are we talking about here, Michelle?
The whole conversation going on in there.
Did I just hear a threesome? Was I invited to this party or not?
Yeah, and then Jim's here, and he said the new guy's kind of cute.
You're kind of cute.
He's Jeff Goldblatt. You're kind of cute, Anthony.
Is this Jim? Who's Jim now?
There's gonna be a lot.
Wait, did he say?
He's.
I don't like kinda cute. Hold on, wait.
I don't like it.
Oh my God, bro. That's hilarious. Yeah, I think Jeff. Some people.
What about now, Jimbo?
That's even better. That reminds me of that Tim and Eric comedy, The Sexiest Man Alive. If you've never seen that, I recommend it. Tim and Eric are some of the best comedians. It's called The Sexiest Man Alive contest. Look it up. It's ridiculous.
I can see the comments.
I love Tim and Eric. Can you see him now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yes, Jeff's actually working tonight. He
there is. He just checked in. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, what's up? He's right with us, but he ended up having to save some lives. As you know, he works in the.
Thank you for your service, Jeff.
Fixing lungs. But I wish you were here. But like I said, this will probably roll into another part, so I'm sure it's gonna get out there. But yeah, back to what you were saying. It's just how many people change so much with some of the things they say. It's almost humorous to me, and I don't know. I think Exodus wrote a song called Dead Skin Mask, and that's exactly what I think of what's going on right now, really. So,
do you think Jeff would like me or not?
Why wouldn't Jeff like you?
I thought there was somebody you said that was on the show that is...
Oh yeah, Jeff might give you a run for your money on politics. He's pretty
really
pretty good. Yes.
So he doesn't.
I was kind of hoping because you guys could really throw it.
He
back
doesn't
like
gay free thinkers. He doesn't like gay free thinkers. He wants us to be in the Democrat box.
Gay? I know. I don't think at all. I don't think he's Democrat or Republican. I think
I like everyone. He said. He goes, I like everyone.
He's still good. He comes up with some shit, but he has some. He usually has an anecdote to somebody else's thing, and sometimes it's interesting to hear. So I was kind of wishing he could come in. Yes, I think he would like you just fine. 100%.
Okay, I would like to have a conversation with them. Just please don't be one of those straight people that talk for the gay community because we're good. You could just.
Oh no, he doesn't.
Perfect.
Oh no, nope, not him.
Oh, the allies.
There's
the
plenty
allies
of
are the worst, Brent. The allies are the worst, honey.
Sure.
Please do me a favor. You're making it worse. Just sit the fuck down. We got it. We've had it since Stonewall, baby. Just sit the fuck down. We're good.
Yep, he said it right there. I told you. He's no Democrat.
Oh my God.
It's just like people will ask me, what do you think about Black Lives Matter? I don't know. I'm white. So I have no fucking idea. And guess what? Every white Starbucks drinking suburban bitch should probably sit this one out because it's not yours. This one's not yours. I know you want to be oppressed. I know you're striving. You went home today and you went to your $1.5 million house and you made your glitter board that says Black Lives Matter and all this shit. And then you went to go stand and say Black Lives Matter. Listen, sit this one out. How do you know him? Well, I mean, everyone's a little crooked. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I've seen Jimmy a few times.
Be safe. Be safe.
We've been on the road for a while.
You've seen what now, Troy? I'm sorry, I missed that one.
I said Jimmy and I spend a lot of time on the road. You know, it gets dry sometimes.
That's true.
There are some questionable videos.
Listen,
they were on the road.
When he takes his hair down, that man's got some hair. When he takes it down, he flips it back like that.
Let's just say they don't call him Gentle Jimmy for
Yeah,
nothing.
Jimbo's
Okay,
long hair,
he's
dude.
Gentle Jimmy.
I
Don't
was
call him
if
that
I
for
found
nothing.
out Gentle Jimmy, I'd probably sit on his lap and rub his beard.
Merry Christmas, mofo. You know what's funny is even the ghosts love Jimmy's hair. Whenever we're
That's
investigating ghosts, even the ghosts love his hair. And he brings out the crooked, creepy ghosts that come out of nowhere.
Chills when you said that.
Yeah, they always love Jimmy. They come up and it's like, the mediums are always like, yeah, they're playing with your hair. And he's like, I felt it. Yeah, they
So
love
I
it.
want, okay, wait. So I want all this. I want the meeting. I want to do this.
Okay.
But here's the funny thing though, Britt. I'm a wuss. Like, I want it. I want it. And then I'll be there. I'll be like, no, I'll probably be like latching on to Jimmy or Troy the entire time.
Be careful with Jimmy because he will get touched, which means you'll get touched. So they'll be like, who's your friend?
He's debating on if he wants to get touched or not. Did you see?
I know.
Well, the whole
for a
time-
second.
Hey, Britt, at least the whole time I can use the excuse, Jimmy, that wasn't me. That was the ghost.
That's true. That's true. You could. You'd be like, oh, he got frisky. with
I
you.
think it'd be great. Jimmy gets us some real good access too, man. I really like to get to the Motley. We did actually get in there, all joking aside, and we actually got some really neat stuff in there. It was pretty awesome. And yes, Jeff, that's exactly what that be. See, that's why I missed Jeff tonight. He would have said that already.
Paranormal
He
three-way.
would have said
Yeah.
that. He would have said that
Believe
between him and Daniel's French fries are not full in his box and his elevator
There's
isn't
a
all the way
lot of questionable men in this chat today.
Daniel,
They're
I've
just
had to
very
cook
free. They're very open and they are strong in who they are. That's this group.
I love
Hey,
that.
puppy.
Okay, Dan. I love that Dan has like a very German last name or something. And
Yep, Schwartz for work.
And let me tell you, I went to Germany recently and I'll pass. It's 0 out of 10 for me. Well, the schnitzel.
Hold on. I'm gonna defend Dan because he's half Panamanian.
Oh, what?
And his dad looked like George W.
Wasteland?
Bush. His dad looked like George W. Bush, and his mom looked like they found her in Panama. Like he showed me a picture, like she had her very nice island dress on and stuff, like very like I don't know what was going on there. And then they made Daniel. And that is a whirlwind pyramid in its own.
island dress. Does she have coconuts on?
No, it was it was a very nice little blue, like, I don't know, like maybe she'd make pots or something.
Wow.
So Daniel spends most of his time here. He actually works for me. Daniel works for me. He does a lot of my account works. He's really good with animals. So he's hyper focused on animals. He does a good job with them. And so at least I have someone to trust. That's an important thing in this industry, you know. And he'll give me an update. Hey, I fed the tortoise. He ate 3 leaves, 4 carrot shavings, a biscuit. I'm like, dang, to start writing that down, man, we'll turn it into the AZA America situation.
I love that.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh my gosh.
No, listen to me. I will have him text me the picture of his father right now because he's watching, and I will send it to you all. It is Jade. I'm telling you, when you see it, George Bush had an affair. He was doing this when Daniel was born. That's why we had the tower incident. He was with Daniel's mom, 100%.
Wow.
That picture's freaky. He's laughing because he knows.
Back to the ghost thing. I wanted to ask Anthony, I got a question for you, boss. So
Yeah.
would you ever be interested in doing like a sensory deprivation where you literally are alone in the dark room and being watched? You'd be monitored because you'd be a new person. I would never just leave you in there alone. But they put sound deafening headphones on you and they put a blindfold. So you have to, all of your other senses are heightened so that you can feel and sense things a lot greater. And you actually intuitively can hear like voices in the room in the other dimension that will talk to you.
But would this be in a place that's haunted, or are we just talking
yes.
about
No. In an actual
let's work up to that.
But what if the night's going really well and I'm right there with you and you're completely safe? Like you won't be left alone in the room. Like I would never do that to a new person. Like I would stay with you. We would stay in a group, but there would be a very small amount because we wouldn't want anybody talking to like interrupt the session with you to see what happens to you directly. You know, see if you're another gentle Jimmy.
I will consider this, but once a finger I'm poked by a finger, I'm out. The acoustic.
Yeah, I don't know that I don't know you'd be poked by a finger, but I remember like a lot of them like pull on Jimmy's clothes. And we're not making it up. That really happened to Jimmy. Like it pulls his clothes.
Yeah. Oh, I have it. Here, I'll send it. I have it. I downloaded it because I was like, oh, I need to send this to the guys.
Listen, I have to start very small and then work my way up to bigger. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but in all reality though, like where we were getting that done, it wasn't spooky or like scary. It was, we're all together as a group, and I was in this room, and
what's going on, Jeff?
And I started getting nickels thrown at me, and and then my shirt. I actually asked you guys, is somebody next to me? And then it pulled my shirt, and then you guys saw the face next to me.
Yeah, there was a little kid. Actually, it was a little kid. I remember. I said there's.
I sent the very cut video to you guys to send over to Ant. But the longer version, you can hear Troy say, "There's a little boy in the room." Like next to
I'm going to send it to you right now, and I don't know where you can view it at, but you'll be able to view it.
Here's the thing, Britt. The reason why I said, and remember our phone conversation last week where I said that I'm very like if I step into a room, and this has been all my life. If I step into a room, I'm like, oh my God, what happened? Like I can feel like the negative, like if there was something negative that happened there, I can feel it,
Right.
And that was like one of my friends' aunt had a house that somebody was murdered in, and then he didn't tell me that, but when I walked in, there was a certain part of the house that like there was almost a hand that was telling me not to go down this hallway, and I was like, oh my God, I'm feeling like not, and he's like, I don't know how you would know that, and then he told me the story, and I was like, okay, I want to go.
I don't want to be in there.
Yeah, I want to go. Like
I want you to close me up in that walk all the way in there and shut me up in that room.
Well, what's interesting, Anthony, is like what you're describing is what they call in the terms of like the new age term is called an empath. But realistically, it's a psychic ability. Like they call it empath, but it's not. It's a true like a psychic ability to sense and feel energy around you in a space. So the more you work on that, the more you'd be able to decipher or close your eyes and start getting images of like what happened in that location, to where then you'd be able to talk to people and be like, did this happen here? Did something happen here? Like,
yeah, because people that are able to do that kind of go into that place and they're able to see that. I also felt that, Britt, when I was in we went to Europe, strangely enough. There's a lot of history in Europe, right? And we did the Vatican and we did like the underground, like the catacombs and stuff. And we walked the streets of the very first Roman city. Now, I won't bore you guys with the whole Roman history thing, but we were the only ones down there in our tour guide. So it was 4 of us. And I kept telling her, the tour guide, I was like, it feels so busy down here. I'm like, it's like packed. Like I had the chills. I was like, I literally feel like there's people that are like whisking by me. And she's like, because this was the main, like this was a city. She's like, so you might be feeling the energy of this city at its highest life, like when it was bustling and people were living here. So everywhere in Europe, I felt that. Like I could feel those different energies. I'm like, we would go into a place and I'm like, it's crowded, even though it wasn't.
Yeah, if you honestly, I think if you focused on that energy a little bit more, you'd be able to actually see in your head images, because that's what I can do. Like, that's what I do. Like, Troy laughs at me. He's like, oh my God, that I can't help it. Sometimes it just clicks in. Like, I close my eyes and I will see what happened in a building, and sometimes I can't handle it. So it's just something that you tune into, but it's possible that you are truly seeing and feeling like almost like you're transcending back into that time and actually being there, but still being in our time. And like Judy said, time bending, it still falls in line with that theory as well. Yeah.
So touching on being an empath, I think empaths, at least in this, what we do or what we've been doing, is not the same thing. Empath, I think, is when someone's with someone else, they can feel their depression or their sadness, and they can feel their energy. They feed off their energy, so whatever their energy is can bring them down. That's usually what an empath was to me. That's what it used to mean. When we connect into, and I was telling you, Ant, too, like when you go into another realm, you almost feel like you're floating. And a lot of people think you're, and I do it it's not drinking or anything. I do it sober. So I just think it's an ability to get over it. I always thought to me, it was interesting. But the most of the arguments I get, obviously, with people who are heavy, there's no ghosts. You're one or the other place, whatever, and they'll believe that. Like I told you, they can say, they can ask this, they can throw this thing up in the air and they go, hey, can you fix my friend or whatever? And they believe it's going to happen. Like, your prayers are working. Yeah. But if you say there's another realm, then they're like, no way. You're so ridiculous. That's not true. And it's so weird to me how people pick and choose. Like, if you went out right now and said you believed in Santa Claus and you sat out all night waiting for him to land on the roof, they'd think you're an idiot.
Santa's real.
Yeah, but there is an actual, I saw him. Listen, not in the way that everybody thinks I saw him, but where my dad's town is in Italy, which is Bari, Italy, which is southern Italy, the heel of the boot. Saint Nick is a man with a white beard, and his body is literally in a glass case. You can go there and see him. It's the Church of Saint Nicholas. It's the Church of Saint Nicholas. And when I went there, I was like, oh my God, my dad's like, I told you my town had Santa Claus, like the real Santa Claus.
Yeah.
He used to give kids gifts on Christmas. Santa, Satan, Quinn.
Little bit of red and a little bit of white. Mighty
is there a relation between that and Krampus?
I love Krampus.
Krampus is one of my favorites. You see, that's where we should be. I'm really trying to go back up to Orlando.
You see my painting?
On Sunday because the Krampus Fest is going on. You know how fun that's going to be.
Oh, for sure.
In Orlando?
Yep, Krampus Fest.
There's fun things in Orlando?
Just this one. Well, just this one. Just this one. Let's not get carried away. Okay.
But yeah, Krampus is one of my favorite stories because there's always a dark side to everything. And, a lot of kids got coal. I think that was just what poor people told their kids. But I think at the end of the day, like they made their kids bad. We don't have any money. Just tell him he was a piece of shit and he'll get over it. Kind of
Well, what's really interesting, like if you go back, like it's what I love about Krampus, right? Is like if you go back, like it actually started in Turkey, then Germany took it over. But in Germany, the best part is that the grandparents would tell their grandchildren, if they were like spending the night or staying with them, to literally put your shoes out in front of the door and put a coin in so that Krampus would go past. You'd pay him to not take you.
I just watched the beginning the other night. When that kid fucking screamed at him. My favorite was the most recent movie ever made about Krampus.
Oh, it's still the
Santa version, the one that's in front of my house, the one that I have in front of my house. You saw, but I have him in the front of the house. The chain's got all.
I love your decorations, by the way.
Thank you. It's just the beginning. I actually have over 100 feet of lime green chain coming. I'm gonna be running out and adding more characters to more disarray. But in the end, when the kid's like, "Hey, I take back my wish" or whatever, and he like puts his finger and he looks in that kid's face and he just laughs at him and throws him in the hole. Fucking hey.
Can I just say one thing? Not to digress or anything, but who was that? That was Jeff, right? Okay. Just making sure I know. I thought that I was bad, Troy.
Are we talking about the porn?
Yeah, I thought every time I make comments to Troy, I'm like, I'm sorry. Every time I make like comments to Troy, like when we're texting or whatever, I'm like, I'm sorry, I have no filter. And then I see the people that are watching, and I'm like, I'm PG compared to.
Oh, welcome to the group. Well, it's nice to meet you. There is no filter here.
If you said any of the things that you say when we text, this show will be pulled off the air again, and I will lose the whole channel.
Lies! Don't shut the fuck.
100% of the time, 100%, it will happen.
Lies.
It's 100%. It'll be good. Why? One of us will get
Judy, have you met Troy?
Exactly. That's what I was
supposed
to say.
Meet him tomorrow. He actually seems pretty PG to me.
Well,
I am.
Just give it time. This is the nice to meet you, Troy. Like he's just trying to make sure that it's good, and before he like, I'm gonna come out, and you're gonna get to know the real me. Like, just give it.
I'm terrible. I was just gonna get into because I believe I have Tourette's. Remember, I told you I believe I have Tourette's, and Jimmy spent a lot of time with me, and he'll know what I mean. Like so, when I see things, sometimes I say them.
Calls it out.
Right? Like I'll see like a large woman in a sundress and like her whole ass crack has pulled the whole thing in. And I'll be, that's a big one. It just comes out. Like
it does.
I'm like, I'm really sorry about that. But
that's not Tourette's.
It is. Sometimes it hits me. I just scream things. And I think one time I'll be in like an area that may be haunted or where there was an energy, and I'll have like an argument. I'll be both people at the same time. And then they'll be like, what are you doing down there? What are you saying? I'm like, I just felt at this guy Bobby or something, and this person yelling at him. It'll hit me in my brain. I just start speaking it. Well, that's not it, Bobby. Put it down. And I walk out like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I just felt like
Anthony, here's a good example. So we're in a state doing a show. We're not going to mention the state, but Troy and I were in a reptile. We're in a reptile walkthrough exhibit, and this guy is standing looking at an alligator snapping turtle, and he looks like Jeffrey Dahmer.
100%.
100%. Troy walks right up, and he's like, so the guy's looking at the turtle, and Troy's like, he has his phone out, and it's turned at the guy, and he's like, he goes, yeah, that's Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, he's like screaming like Jeffrey Dahmer, and he's filming the guy the whole time. And the guy, and Troy, like, he's like pointing and this and that, and then he has the video. He'll show it to you. It's absolutely hilarious. But
the best part of that whole story was, bro, the best part of that whole story was the fact that, thank you, Jeff. Paul, you're in for a treat. Thank you, Paul. Paul's known me for we're pushing close to 40 years now, guy. But the guy, guy was at the gas station. Okay. That's how he looked like Dahmer when we first, and Jimmy was on this kick where he would get sugar-free Gold Peak iced tea and 4 like pink packets of Sweet and Low, right? We walk up to the counter. This really happened. We walk up the counter. This guy's got a buck knife on his side, a leather vest.
Real burly guy, yeah.
Right. He looks right at Jimmy and he goes, oh, you like Gold Peak tea? I like tea too. It's so good. And I couldn't fucking believe what I was seeing. Did that not happen?
100% happened.
And then Jimmy was trying to sign his shirt. And he's like, yeah, I watch you guys. I would remember I was up at the gas station and I gave you that Gold Peak tea and it's delicious. It's all on video.
Oh my God.
Right?
It is all on video.
Woman shows up. And then I'm not going to say where it's at, and I'm not going to trash anybody because Jimmy does a really good job out there. But where he does the jobs, sometimes other people from other areas come in that don't even know what's going on. They just know that there's cotton candy. Get your overalls on, Agnes. It's time. Like they don't wear bras or nothing. There's a nipple hanging out the side, a set of overalls. The guy walks in, he slaps it around. She's got her wallet in here, pulls out, it's got 4 chains and every child's name on a fucking shoe. And this woman's whole face looked like a horse. And the guy's whole head was like a scrolled up testicle. And then the lady's like, oh, those are the villagers, and those people all stay within the family.
Yeah.
Like, you know, listen, bro, everybody gets stuck on the straw, if you know what I'm saying. And so all of the fucking, I mean, dude, you should have seen these people. I'm not making it up. Then to top it off, we didn't find out until after we left that they put us in a hotel where they keep pedophiles.
That's actually true.
Yeah. I said, why are all the windows barred down on the bottom floor? Like, that's where the pedophiles are. And I go, Jimmy, that's where the fucking pool is. That's where the kids are swimming.
Yeah, so the kid, like,
what?
So it is a hotel too, so people can stay there as if we were.
But
so,
they
like,
lock the pedophiles and the you know the guys that are a little out there, they lock them in there, dude. And that's what she said.
A little out there?
That's what she said. Pedophiles and the people who are a little off are there at that place that you're staying in, which was like a square brick building. You had to go in this access. It was all square, no outside shit, nothing, right? And so Jimmy and I were coming back one day after a long day at the show, and there was this guy, bro. He was walking down the hall, pulling a leash with no dog on the end of it, walks right between us.
Pulling
and we're looking
what?
at him.
Pulling what?
Pulling a dog leash with no dog on
collar.
Walking it down the hall like a ghost. He walks right between us, and he never said a word.
Troy and I are side by side, and we literally just part, and he walked between us.
But how do you know that he wasn't really walking his dog? Just because you couldn't see him doesn't mean he wasn't there.
We went out to eat. We got done. We went out to get some food. We come back like 2:30 or whatever what it was, and there was babies screaming in the hallways, crying all the way down the corridor like little infants.
3 o'clock in the morning.
I recorded it. So I'm not making it up. I'm like,
that's the part where I tap out. That's the part I don't like.
We stayed there. We just had guns on the nightstand, man. That's it.
That's right. Yep.
Listen, if I come and do anything,
what's up, Justice?
We ain't saying
no. What's up, Justice? How you doing, buddy?
Do what?
If I come out and do anything with y'all, we ain't saying no busted ass place like that, okay?
Oh hell no!
Listen, you haven't lived until you get with me and Jimmy, and you have to stay in Memphis, in the darkest part of town. And we break down. The guy goes, "You're good. Just don't go out of your hotel after midnight."
Well, that's true. Yeah, Memphis is bad.
That's all I need to do is a gay guy that just breaks down in fucking Memphis.
Head straight over to the guest house at Graceland. You'll be safe there. Just stay right there.
All I'm saying is
he's not heading straight anywhere.
Listen. When we first got off the highway, we were looking for a hotel, and we thought we went the right way. So we made a left. We drove down probably 2 miles. We ended up, it was like, I don't know if it was a Friday night. You remember? There was like 150 people, 200 people, like all outside. Like, and we were in like an industrial area, but they were all outside, like these, what are they? The drop doors, the garage doors. And I looked at Troy, I'm like, this is not good. 2 white boys cruising through here with a trailer full of animals. And we got to a gas station, and then we were like, we looked at it and we're like, well, we're not driving. It's definitely the turbo. So then that's when we inched it over there, and then that's when the guy's like, don't go out after midnight. We're like, yep. So like all night we're checking on the truck, make sure it's there, and it was crazy.
It was not tripping. You got to do some trips like that, man. You want to have a good time? We'll go out and we'll film America.
I mean, yeah. Listen, if you want good content and you have my drama ass with you, I'm telling you right now.
With what we have going on, we're definitely going to have some HBO, because this meta thing is not going to work.
I mean, we could do like clips for meta, like PG. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's so ridiculous, dude. So ridiculous.
You can post a lot on YouTube. A lot can go on YouTube if it's pre-cut and edited and uploaded. Then it's not. YouTube does. It's very rare that YouTube will flag something unless it's like hardcore anti.
That was very nice of Paul. Actually, I saw in my comment section on and you're right about YouTube, but I saw in my comment section on TikTok actually that somebody was super excited that I was going to be on your show today.
Aww.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
We usually catch some hate, man. I don't know. There's a lot of, I think I always say this. I always say that you usually catch that from the people who are under you that aren't doing as good, because nobody's ever looking down, kicking over the impulse. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of that goes on, but we have some really good, solid people that have been here a long time with us and that we know personally too as well. Obviously Michelle, Jesse, all them in here, Craig, Paul's known me since we were kids. We were childhood friends. But I think that for the most part, we get a good following. I don't get a whole lot of shit. My biggest thing that I know Brittany gets when she posts stuff about kids or whatever. My top things that I get harassed for are my animals. Like, I can't believe you hugged that kangaroo like that. That's not cool, or whatever kind of thing. Or Christians. You're out there.
Oh, I get it from Christians.
You're propagating Satan. How dare you do that? Well, the reason I do that is because it pisses you off. Right?
But
I got kicked off, bro, because I had the shirt that said Jesus loves all the sluts. Does he not love all the sluts according to the Bible? He loves them all.
Listen,
I didn't say Jesus fornicated with the sluts. I said he loves the sluts.
Hold on, listen. On that point, because I get hate from liberals, not as much anymore. It's more Christians. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Jelly Roll just did an interview, if anybody knows Jelly Roll. Okay.
I love Jelly Roll. One of the greatest.
Just on a show talking about this, okay? And he gets shit from people for not being Christian enough or close enough to the Lord because, he's a man of faith now after everything that he's been through. And he goes through this whole spiel, which is like fucking dead on. And then he's like, I don't know, you guys must be reading a different book because Jesus was hanging out with the hoes and the people who he was literally trying to save hookers, and he was hanging out with the guys that were in prison because he was trying to help them. He's like, he wasn't hanging out with people of faith, like he was trying to help hoes. I mean, hookers. And so
listen, we all know Jesus had a wife.
Yeah.
How come the only thing that he didn't do when he came here, according to that book, is have a normal life? He did everything else. He flipped the tables over.
Well, first of all, we don't know.
Walked on water, brought the dead back to life, which, interesting enough, brought seeing back to the blind or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
But he never had a wife and kids for the 15 or 30 years he was missing. Bullshit. They took that out later on and cleaned everything up, because if you find out true history of Christ, I'm not saying he wasn't there. He was definitely in archaeology. He was around. But they have taken stuff out and changed the book so many fucking times.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I tell people all the time, because they're like, well, what are you, gay now? Because I hang around people that are gay and they go, are you gay now? Well, what's that got to do with anything? Same thing we talk about. Doesn't matter who you fuck. It doesn't matter what kind of person you are. 100%. Unless you're out there giving it to your dog, then I'm going to have to put a bullet right in the back.
Listen, they weren't too concerned back before Christ and all that shit when they were going to fucking bathhouses and dudes were with other dudes before they went and
you mean like Pompeii?
I mean, listen, if you go to the Vatican, okay, there's people that used to be worshipped in Rome, in Greece, that literally used to have sex with 13-year-old boys and then throw them off a cliff after he was done with them. Okay, this was Titus. I think his name was Titus.
That guy partied a little too hard, bro. That's a little too much, don't you think?
But wait a minute. These are supposed to be people of holy faith.
That's what they are. But
they're supposed to be, but they're okay with this. They want to take down statues for shit, but they don't want to take down the statue in Rome because that guy was with 13-year-olds. He used to have sex with them and throw them off of cliffs. So should we start taking those statues down? No.
Look what Christopher Columbus was doing.
Well, they say that he was raping. Yeah, he was raping women and doing all kinds of stuff. Listen, nobody knows.
First of all, that was back then. But now, wait a minute. That was a different time too, because like even if you go through the history of like Kentucky and stuff, So I'm gonna get a little deep here, and whoever's listening, sorry, it's gonna get a little rough.
Well, don't be a little offended now. Jesus, Aunt, pissed off.
Oh no, no. This goes in topic with this. Like Aunt is right. All of us are right. But people neglect history. Like they just want to pick the narrative that fits their narrative. But if you actually go in the history of like go back through Kentucky, because I did a deep dive research on 2 different pieces of property not too long ago. And literally what they would do, and this is not, and like again, you need to know your history and your research before you're out there just blabbing your mouth in front of a camera because you think you know something. And so what they would do to save money is they would, I can't use that word. So they would have sex with their slave women and make their own slaves instead of buying more.
I didn't even know that.
Okay. So then, that they would do this on many pieces of property. Okay. So the women would know this and they would have to watch their children be beaten and horrible things happen to them, but also know that their father's doing it to them. So instead of paying for new ones, they would make them themselves. So yeah, I mean, it's sick. But that's everybody. That was a different time. Like that's not now.
Right. And
stop
that's
comparing now to then.
Correct. And that's what people forget is like those were much different times where a lot of things were not, people were not center-minded. They didn't have morals at times. They didn't have
times. Never, dude. Never.
But the point I'm trying to make when it comes back to Christianity and all that, I don't know everything about Christians. And I'm not down in all Christians because I was raised Roman Catholic. We had this conversation before. I'm a man of faith. I do believe that there's a higher power. I do believe a lot in people who have passed. I pray more to them than I do to the Lord. So that's my own thing. I'm allowed to do that, right? Yep. I'm allowed to choose what I feel is best.
Absolutely.
But, don't message or go out of your way to reach out to somebody and say, you support Satan, you should die and repent and all this shit, because it's like, let's look at your house before we start talking shit, honey. Okay?
I've gotten those messages from me sharing the paranormal with my kids. I've gotten those in regards to me talking about extraterrestrials with my kids because I've gotten a hate mail from said Christians.
I'll say it, because they're fucking idiots, dude.
Well, no. Well, here's the thing. It's like they come at me and they're like
an imaginary thing. Do you understand that? It's like He-Man told me. I saw He-Man last night and he said that you're a piece of shit, and they believe
it.
But
here's the kicker, though. I'm a Christian. Like, I think that baffles the mind so much. Like, I'm a Catholic Christian. I just don't go out there and preach it to the world. Unless you ask me, I'll tell you. But I don't like being attacked and having people tell me that I'm teaching my kids about demons that are flying around in the sky, disguising themselves as something else. And I'm like, that's not at all what this is. Like, we don't know what it is. I'm glad you have history that nobody else does. Maybe you should talk to the Pentagon.
I obviously grew up in the 80s. We talk about that, Aunt, and I remember how horrible people were to people then, especially the quote unquote people that were Christians and loved everybody. If you had long hair or tattooed, or you listened to rock music, or you didn't go with their guidelines, like, I pledge of allegiance to do what you tell me to do and blah, blah, blah. You were garbage, bro. They had clinics. They want to tear you down. Jeff remembers we did a show on this. We talked about it. And then, or even the gay community, look how fucking terrible it was in the 80s, dude. They blamed them for everything.
Yeah, the AIDS pandemic.
Yeah, all of it. Yeah. All of it. And I think that, but us that really knew, there were people, like, you could get media, right? Like, I think the reason that so many religious organizations across the board, not just Christians, but, the Muslims, the Jewish, were so anti, like MTV or HBO, is because there was a lot of things being put out there against their agenda at the time. Like, I've studied it now. If you go back and look where people have pulled this apart, like, look at this. MTV said this, but this was currently going CNN. This was on NBC. This is why they were pissed. They were given the real thing. And I think that they were like, turn that off. The devil's in your house. They were scaring people that, God was going to come back and shoot them and turn everybody to salt. I remember hearing all that stuff, dude. If I had $10 for every time I was told the rapture was coming next year, listen, we'd all be on an island right now. And the Bible, folks, just so you know, the Bible says God recognizes no gender. So for those of you out there, it doesn't matter what the hell's going on with whatever. He doesn't recognize gender. So it doesn't matter if you're gay or straight or whatever. He doesn't care about that. I know that Moses was a warlock and Jesus was a cooler warlock, and that was it. You're turning fucking water to wine, splitting the Red Sea, turning shit to snakes, and only being able to go up and talk to the ark by yourself. Who the fuck is this guy to be able to go up and talk to God? Not Jesus, but God by himself and come down with rules. I mean, he was found in the river. He was found floating in a river, Anthony. Yes. Moses. He was never born. So he was an immaculate conception too. And it said he didn't look like it. His skin was glowing. He had a different aura about him because he was a fucking wizard or an alien. But nobody wants to say that, dude. They want to keep it simple and blah, blah, blah. And it's all imaginary. One of the things that I was going to tell you about, we don't have deities. Like when you hear the church is saying, or you hear people say, I belong to the satanic church or whatever, there's no deity. There's no deities at all. No gods, nothing. You're your own God. You create your own realm. That energy that your creator gave you, you use for your own power. And that's all that's about. Nobody's killing animals or all that kind of stuff. And I know some people who practice in that church. There's no sacrificing. They're very understanding of people's problems and lifting morally and not dumping. I mean, they don't attack you all the time. They don't care what you do. They don't attack you. You're not allowed to obviously be raping, abusing, or killing animals or children at all. That's part of their guidelines. Right. But as far as everything else goes, I mean, I don't know why everybody gets such a big old deal about it because they use the word.
I think that if you're morally a sane, good human being, and you're not doing all the things that you just said, it doesn't fucking matter. But if anybody, but real quick, if anybody has ever been an addict or gone through a 12-step program, whether it's alcohol or NA, Narcotics Anonymous, literally they tell you whatever that higher power is, if it's this, if that's what's going to make you get through your day in your life, then that's what it shall be. It doesn't matter all the semantics. Doesn't matter what Bible you pick up, what revelation you pick up, who should repent, who should die in a fiery lake of bullshit, what saint you are, who shouldn't eat bacon, who shouldn't, just be a fucking normal human. Don't kill animals. Don't fuck with children. Don't kill humans unless they try to kill you and your family. And we're good to go.
Or touch them in the shower.
That's exactly right.
What happened in the shower?
I said, or touch them in the shower. Then you have to kill them too,
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that goes without saying. Sure.
I don't think there's any person that I know personally that would see somebody committing a crime like that, not just morally, but in general, to a child or abusing animal that wouldn't, bro. Whatever's in that room is going through that person 100%. I'm just telling you, I don't know anybody that doesn't know that. And I'm not talking that shit, son. If I ever saw that or caught that, if I see someone kicking a dog, I'm putting them in a wheelchair. I'm not lying to you, and I would do that.
Agreed.
100%.
100%
I'm going to
agreed.
start a fight with you, even if I go to jail.
Children and animals are the most innocent thing on the face of the
planet. We already take enough of their shit away.
They depend on sane human beings to take care of them.
Yep.
And elderly people. I feel really bad for like super elderly people that have dementia or whatever, and I see them in hospitals.
But I don't care if a super old person that was a pedophile has dementia.
Oh no, that I'm talking about a normal old person that has
like me and Jimmy, right?
And you see these videos of these nurses beating them up.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I wish I would catch this fucking bitch. I swear to God, I wish I would see that shit because I would want to whoop her or his ass.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. When it comes to kids, like we've known this from before, like I tell Troy, don't send me videos, please, because I literally have a snap. Like it's a switch. It's very Viking and volatile. And a wheelchair is still even a little too nice, in my opinion. Like I want you.
He said a wheelchair, hell, morgue.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but morgue alive, like morgue alive though. Like I think there's nothing more traumatizing than being buried alive. Like to me, I think that's what I want done to these people. Because you literally suffocate to death and you're suffering underground for a long time in claustrophobic darkness.
I would.
And you literally have inches
Top
to
right.
scratch and breathe out of. So for me, ring that Saved by the Bell all you want, honey. You're under that ground until you no longer breathe.
Amen.
So that's what I want with those people. Like it's a
or in big boys
thing. Don't ever let me see it happen because I will get my popcorn and I will call the best annihilators ever and just enjoy a good evening, a good
I'll
show.
be right there with you, honey. You want extra butter? I got extra butter.
Please. Yes, and a large Coke. Thank you.
Ooh, out of the fountain,
Yes, extra ice. Thank you.
That's very well said. And I think that a lot of, like I'm saying, a lot of the people that follow us here or whatever, like I get what I call shadow followers, people to see what I'm talking about so they can start shit or report me. Because
for what?
They just do it all the time because I'll say something or
they see it as offensive. They see it as offensive, unfortunately.
But these are people that are eating potato chips on their couch, scratching their fupa, and they have no followers, no pictures. They're fucking miserable, and they're watching reruns of fucking shows that nobody's ever watched. You know what I'm saying? They're just scratching.
I call them the keyboard bullies because I'm like, if I was face to face with you, you would never say this.
Ever say shit because I would rock your jaw in half.
Yeah, no, I don't stand for it. I don't care who you are.
Jimmy and I were up. I think we were at Choctaw and we got to see Charlie Daniels, one of his last performances.
That was there. Yep.
He did the song "Simple Man." You ever heard that song by Charlie Daniels? When he said, "We can tie him to a stump, let the alligators and the rattlers do the rest." Well, Jimmy's got an alligator big enough to eat people. So, if we catch you, my friend, big boys having lunch. We just have to cut him up a bit.
Yeah,
wait for the warmer weather.
Yeah, because you'll be like a piece of urate about this big on the bottom of the pond there when you're done.
Do you ever wonder?
Calcium. I mean, all of it be gone.
Do you ever wonder why the mobs have pig farms? You're welcome.
Yeah. That's it. That's exactly why, for sure.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Because Italians are a little crazy. That's why.
We are.
How'd that pig taste? Did it taste like Joe?
Oh my God, more like Vinny. But
yeah, Vinny. Yeah.
Yes,
but I did want to circle back.
We are in colder weather.
I did want to circle back to something like when on the topic of like when it comes to like the church, people really don't understand how deep the Catholic Church got into the paranormal scope and still is today. Like they were the first to document an actual ghost and spirit. Because if you go by like the Bible and stuff, they're like, oh no, there's no such thing as ghosts. But even the Catholic Church talks about ghosts.
I didn't see
because
it.
they've witnessed them.
It doesn't say that.
I'm saying the Christians
hang
will
out
tell
with
you
one.
this.
Don't they? The Holy Ghost. Don't they hang out with?
But listen, Britt, when you go to the Vatican, it is a very dark place. It is not light, bright, and wonderful.
I'm sure.
A very, very dark presence at the Vatican. I'm sorry, as a Catholic, it's very dark. The stories of each pope is very disturbing, and what they've done to people and what they do to people is very disturbing. And they are current, not to mention all of the things that the Catholic Church already has issues with their priests. And the archdiocese, not to get into this too deep, but the archdiocese is literally its own fucking government. They try to cover shit up and pay this to politicians to make sure that they can cover their ass in the Catholic Church, okay? And they're still performing exorcisms till this day.
Oh yeah,
covering them up.
Mm-hmm. The only time you'll ever hear about those exorcisms are if there's like an Irish or a Scottish priest that get involved or are asked to get involved. Yep. It's very rare, even in America, like an American priest gets involved. It's always like a European priest that they call upon, and those are the ones that leak.
Or a Mexican. Or
yeah, you're right. Yep.
Catholic. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they bring good food when they come. Are we going to be able to do one of these houses soon? I mean, I'd like to get with Jimmy again too, and put together one of those kind of things.
What, like the Ma Barker?
Yeah, something like that, or something close to another area, but close to you that we could get into and really just go spend some really deep time. What's up, Michael? How you doing, bud?
Yeah, I'll have to talk to Jeff and see what he says about that.
Yeah, whatever.
Because like I said, he's got a different part.
Okay.
If it's a small group, depending on how far people want to drive, I mean, I can always reach out to several of my people and find out like some locations. I just like to make sure it's a small group because I'm not keen on large groups at all in investigations.
It will be a small
you're
group.
Just gonna
I'd like
mess
to
shit up.
and have a nice small group, and we'll go. Well, let's get together and work on that for sure.
All right, I'm down.
I want to get them scared. I love you. I'm just kidding. I will be honest. Like, if it's a small group, I will be honest. If it's a small group and there's not a lot going on, and you're actually able to get in the moment, a lot more stuff happens, and it really amplifies the frequencies, and more stuff really does happen. Like when they talk about the thinning of a veil,
those frequencies will affect that.
Do what?
I was telling Jimmy, remember how everybody changed and we got rid of everybody in St. Augustine?
Oh, yeah. Nothing was happening. And then when everyone left,
we had all these tour groups in, right? And we're like, if I was living here about right now and my place was a museum and I wasn't dead and you brought these many people in, I'm going to go somewhere. I'm not going to want to be around. So after that, when they had Jimmy and I were able to do a little bit, we were able to do a little better.
It's interesting, though, because I do apply the theory of time bending a lot to my investigations. And I notice that people bring their own different frequencies, and sometimes those frequencies over amplify a location. And once those people are removed, then the frequencies can kind of go back and bend and make their own sound.
Cool.
So sometimes those people, when those people leave, it will amplify a location because then all of a sudden it's almost like removing a certain crystal that was blocking that energy and that frequency. So
yeah, just let me know when, guys. I mean, Troy and I talk every day at this point, so
yeah, we're
just kidding.
Worked out well, Brittany.
I know I'm not as special as you. Sorry, I get it.
You're like me and Jimmy, get a better beard going. That's your problem.
I don't. Well, I can't even use a filter on here, but I've used the Troy filter before.
I'm a sucker for beards. I am.
See,
damn it. Well, guys, I'll make it work somehow.
Oh, I love it. Do you want a Bud Light?
No.
Oh my God.
I can do the Kid Rock for you though. There you go.
All right. I'm down with that. But I do have another show though. So I have to.
Yep, it's fine. We're going to cut it up anyways, man. We're going to go ahead and end the stream as well. I appreciate you coming out, Ant. Thanks for spending time with us. And Jimmy, thanks for joining us again. I know you're busy out there in the cold weather of Florida and Bumblebee Tuna. Thanks for coming out and joining us tonight. We'll try to do this again. We'll get with him some more and we'll pick his brain. We'll have a good time. But as far as if he wants to come back, that is. As far as that goes, we love having you, and we'll definitely.
That hour went by super fast for me.
It does. We usually have a pretty good time. We have fun. I'm glad when everybody can make it. When Jeff's here and it's a full house, we'll have a lot of fun. Sure. Julie, Paul, everybody, Michael, Michelle, Craig, Jeff, everybody that's come out tonight. Ben, everybody, thanks for coming as always, and we will see you.
Thank you, guys. You have a good night.